Hello everyone, hello guys and gals. I'll be going live with Michael from Wheels and Warriors, and we are going to tell you a little bit about Vocalize so you'll rise. So I am going to ask Michael to join me.
But I just agreed to his Instagram.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
So good to see you.
You too. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just returned back from Spain.
Oh, I didn't know
So
where you were. I knew you.
yeah,
I knew.
I was there for the weekend. I had to pick someone up.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
So I was very glad with my brace, and I'm going to see if I can get another one. So did you ever see my brace, or didn't
No,
you?
I've never seen your
Hi,
brain.
Ellen. So this is my very cool
Oh,
brace.
that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's my knee brace. It can, you know, go all the way.
hmm
So, and I might need the one for my right knee too, I'm afraid.
The only cool thing
So,
about my wheels back in 2004, two friends of mine for my birthday got me spinners for my wheelchair, and it was cool because they were like from Walmart, cheap things, but they were like curved, and we were in a bar in the middle of the bar laughing our butts off, like zip tying these spinners to my chair. It was there.
I just see them, with zip
Yeah.
ties. Oh my God. Yeah, go on.
Oh, it was just funny. We were laughing our butts off, and there was only like the four of us in there, or three or four of us, and then just people around, whatever. But we were just putting the spinners on on my chair, laughing our butts off, and like it was just fun because I'm not like a pimp my ride kind of guy. I mean, I
Yeah.
like flashy colors on the wheelchair, but like the wheels themselves are pretty much the only thing I've ever actually made look cool. And whenever I get a new chair, I always try to get like the wheels with like the fun designs on the spokes, because usually they're just like curved or like have nice cool designs on them. They're fun. So you got to make it fun.
So do spinners have a function, or is it just to pimp it?
It just looks cool. There's no
It just
fun.
looks cool.
There's no functional anything at all. It just looks good. Just spin and then you look at it and then stops. That's it.
Okay, okay. Because Ellen is curious about it. So of course I quickly looked it
This
up
is
like
this is almost 20 years ago, and I have tried to look at Walmart to see if they're spinners, but they're gone, so I can't find them anymore.
hmm, hmm. They
Should be,
should
yeah.
be out there somewhere.
They should. I've been trying. I've been looking all over. I can't find them.
Hmm. Well, I'll take a look as well. Maybe I can find something for you. You never know.
That'd be good.
So Ellen talks about wheelchair cross. I'm not sure what she's talking about. Do you know what she's talking about?
Wheelchair lacrosse, yeah. I played it.
Oh, she means lacrosse, as in okay.
It's
So
lacrosse in a wheelchair. I'm assuming. I've played wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, and wheelchair rugby, and a little bit of wheelchair lacrosse.
okay. Yeah, she's talking about the issues of wheelchair crossing. Uh, Maybe we should invite her so she can
Okay.
explain what
I'm
she's talking about.
curious because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I can the only thing I can think about is literally crossing the streets with wheelchairs, which of course is an art in itself. Yeah,
It can,
she's talking about
especially
the
in
street.
because Vegas is not good. It's not nice to its pedestrians.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine so. And by the way, I wouldn't be very fond of crossing as in going. Oh, there you are. Hello, Ellen.
That's my painting. I did a painting.
Oh, that looks cool. Let's see.
I was
Michael
talking.
is.
I was talking about wheelchair crossing. Did he say he was? Is his name Michael?
Yes, it is.
Did he say he does
So,
He's in a wheelchair.
yes, he's in a wheelchair.
What I
We
was
have
saying
to
is
get him back on again. Hang
okay.
on for a sec.
Okay. Well, while he does that, this is my painting we did. You know how you do painting with the twist? And this
Yes.
is the first painting that I did right. Usually I do it
Okay.
so wrong. It's a butterfly.
I can tell.
I'm glad you can. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. Hopefully he gets back on. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I just returned back from Spain. I just got from the
Sorry about that.
plane. So there's Michael.
Uh,
Hey there.
hello.
Something happened. I lost you.
I hit a thing on my phone and I went bye bye. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, you're back. So that's good. So, Ellen, maybe you want to explain to Michael what you were talking about.
Yeah, I didn't know what you
Sure.
meant. Like,
Sure. And hello to you all. And thanks for allowing me to come on your live, Lady Lexy.
Oh, you're welcome.
What I was talking about is wheelchair crossing because I live in Virginia, Newport News, Virginia, and I see a lot of, I don't know if I'm saying it right, wheelchair bound, or I just want to be very careful with that because I don't know if that's the proper saying, but I do see folks in the wheelchair, and sometimes it be at night where there's just like it's dark, and all of a sudden you come up on your car and you could almost they could just be rolled under your car. And I see they have duck crossing and all this stuff. I was like, why don't they get wheelchair crossing? Because a lot of them be trying to cross and they can't go as fast as that light changing. I mean, they go when they have to go, but sometimes cars, once that light turn green, they are out in that road. So it pains me to see folks in wheelchair and they have to hurry up and there's no like we wait for those ducks to cross and nobody will hit a duck. But they need to do the same thing for
Oh, yeah.
wheelchair crossing.
I get what you're saying. And in addition to that, I just want to, when I'm not sure if it was in Phoenix or in San Diego, I don't know. I used to do high-speed crutch hopping. So there was this huge crossing, and there were like, I think we had like 15 or 20 or 25 seconds before the light would go on red again. But
Yeah.
if I would go there, in the middle of the night, like at 3 at night, then of course all those cars can go to the right. They don't have to wait. Well, they have to wait, but they sometimes don't. And then I would go there like, and they were like, "Oh my God, what's that? We need to tap the brakes." But yeah, that was kind of funny. So I do get a little bit of what you're saying. But let's talk to the expert here, Michael.
I don't think we need specific wheelchair crossings. I just think crossing is just universal, and I think cars in general need to watch out more and be more careful and just be nicer to who's crossing. I don't think it matters if you're in a wheelchair or not. Just let the people cross. That's it. I mean, if somebody's in a wheelchair or on crutches or just having trouble and needs to go a little slower, just let them go. I mean, but just people have to watch out more and be more cautious of who's in front of the car. And that has happened. I mean, and that hasn't happened to me when I cross. But like if I'm in a parking lot and people are backing out of their spots and I'm rolling behind them, I generally go in the middle of the parking lane so that gives them enough time to see me. And because if you go right up on their car behind them, you might get hit, and that's kind of partially your fault as well as their fault. but so I go in the middle just to give everybody enough room and time. But just I don't think there needs to be specific crossings. It just needs to be people more cautious and looking out and just go slower while you're in a parking lot or doing a crossing. I think.
I guess I
Yeah, and
thought
I
that way
have to
because
say,
not everybody have a motorized wheelchair. Not everyone have that. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking more in my mind of those who have to do it with their hands. I can
Mm-hmm.
see the
well, I was
mobile,
thinking the
having,
same thing.
No, mine is just mine is just a regular chair that isn't like motorized.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, and my experience, but of course I'm not specifically talking about the US, is that when people see you are actually crossing and you're using it manually, that they do take the time to wait for you until you're finally across the street.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not here. They
and
don't take
it's the
time.
same with people with little children. I mean, they can brush, and when I'm not using my crutches and I'm using the brace, I still can run.
Yeah.
So it's like what I've learned from when I was little is when you make contact with the people behind the wheel, that's just make that eye contact, then they know, okay, hang on, I need to do something, I need
Yeah.
to wait.
Well, mine is specifically looking like, okay, you see, you're at the light at the main intersection. I can see them. They do let them go. I'm talking about when you cross the street and you have a turning lane that's against the traffic. So they're not waiting for them to go across that little corner. And I'm just speaking of where I live at. So they go across, and then there's some people coming out of the community that can make a right into the onto the highway. And
Mm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm talking about. So the sidewalk goes from the beginning of the intersection, and it goes where they could either go down the sidewalk, or they have to wait for the oncoming cars that's turning left, and that you got the left right section, if you know what I mean, and then you have a left right. So the
Mm-hmm.
left right and that left right and that right left, they're going the time they're supposed to. But when you get to that left right, they seem to go out. And sometimes you can't see them because that corner is like on a slant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it
It.
just pains me to see it.
I think it depends on the area and just the person. Really, I mean, it's
hmm
each individual situation. I mean, I've been lucky. Like, whenever I cross the street and I'm not in my car, they actually just let me go, and I just hold as fast as I can. What bothers me is that if I'm in a car and people who aren't disabled just take their sweet time, and it takes them forever to cross the street, me in a chair, I go as fast as I can to make it
hmm
easier. So it, I think
See, but you're going as fast as you can, but there's no real courtesy on. And I look at it that way too, because my mom, I don't like to use the word. No offense, I don't like to use the word disabled or disability.
I don't.
I know you have your ability,
I,
because my mom is deaf.
mhm.
My mom is deaf, and I do sign language, but
Okay.
she never allowed us to sign. This is in around people. She just wanted, in my words, being an adult now, I believe that she wanted to be the norm. Don't
Yeah.
just know. And so she was raised that way. So people who is around me and my mom, they don't know she's deaf,
Hmm.
because she can read lips well, and she can cope in the hearing society. So they think she's being defiant, and she just don't want to talk to them. But I have to say, no, my mom is deaf.
Hmm. I don't
So,
see a problem for disability or disabled. I believe that's what I am, and I don't, that's what I've always been. That doesn't matter to me. I mean, I
hmm
could that call me disabled, and people that I don't know call me disabled. To me, it doesn't matter. But I get that's another thing. It's individual preference.
hmm hmm
And like you said, your mom, it just that's a different time and it's a different mindset. And
Yeah, because she's 87. She's
yeah,
87, so that was a
yeah,
whole different time set.
yeah. But
But then
I would
again, Michael,
learn sign language.
you also have on your Instagram post, and then you cross out the this because you want to let people know, okay, I may be disabled, but I'm able-bodied
Yeah,
anyway.
Yes,
just a
yes,
that's just a hi- highlighting the able part,
Yes.
because
yeah,
part of what I try to showcase or let people know is I want them to, the people who are able-bodied and aren't like in a wheelchair or on crutches, I want to express to them what we can do as far as people
yeah.
in the wheelchair, or
Mhm.
to highlight that part of our what we can do.
I
Yeah,
agree. So
that's a good
looking
one.
at you, just looking at you, of course, I can't tell you in a wheelchair, but
Yeah,
I'll just go back to
yeah.
like now
Tear
that I'm
down.
older. Oh, I go
Down.
back to now that I'm older. I didn't know what. Nowadays, you could tell who someone's that's deaf. You know that they're deaf. They have that certain look, and I didn't know until I got older that I can see that look. So looking at my mom, because of knowing that look now in society, I know when someone's deaf. I mean, I can see because maybe their head is a certain way, or they're listening more on that side that they can hear, or something like that. And it could be just in my circles, or they could have the ear piece in, but not every. My mom never wore it, and she despised it because she didn't know. They probably taught her how to do it, but my mom wasn't patient with it. And back then in the 70s, they had this huge clunker. They didn't have that little disguise. It was just a huge clunker, and she was
Yeah,
like,
people
no,
didn't like that. Yeah, I
no.
remember.
She was like, no. And so with that, and that was just like too much for her.
So
She's
was she
real
able to speak?
feisty and spicy.
But was she able to speak?
What?
My mom, I just learned 2 years ago, and hear me clearly, 2 years ago, that my mom, from her sister, she said that my mom, a childhood disease my mom caught my grandmother, when she was younger. So she was like a toddler, and some kind of childhood disease that I think rubella, some of that, something like that, that will cause you to lose your hearing. But I don't know what caused her to lose her voice, because my mom, as I'll be 60 this year, so as long as I know my mom, she was not hearing or speaking. So we did do some testing way back when I was younger. They test my mom hearing, and they told us that her hearing is like taking a stethoscope, and I'm not saying that word right, and you put it on the wall. That's how her hearing is.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
like that. But
It
she,
was the vibrations
yeah,
through the
vibrations.
bone.
Yep, that's my mom did, like loud vibrations. And so being in the home with her, we couldn't have things up loud. So I learned how to read lips. So we had to have the TV down very, very low, and we couldn't wait till daddy come home. He's hearing. So that taught me how to read lips. But I know sign
Okay.
language more than passable, but not as fluent as I should, because I choose not to learn as I was growing up. But I know now. So if someone is deaf, we can talk all day long, but I'm just rusty, so I'm not around that culture, like I
Yeah.
should be. Hmm.
I
Well, I have a little funny story to add. Um, we nowadays, because of the COVID, we have a lot of translators, interpreters with sign language. Um,
Ooh,
yeah, that's so for 2 years now we have those people, and so
you should
whenever
have
the
one on one day so I can sign with them.
yeah,
Love
well,
that.
so one of those interpreters, she actually signs on the music. So she dances and then she signs the text, which is kind of cool.
Love that. That's how I learned how a lot of my words do dancing. Hmm.
Nice. So, Michael, what did you want to add? I believe a lot was going on in your mind.
no, I just well, I just mentioned how I'd love to learn sign language, and I know certain words here and there, because the
Hmm.
first of my life when I was in school, I was in a specific school for disabled people.
Mm-hmm.
So no words here and there.
Do you remember any of them? Show me,
Uh,
and I'll just say it without you telling me what it is.
this, this.
So you got your finger and you're doing like this?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. If you're saying
Bathroom.
like bathroom,
Yeah.
no. Bathroom.
Okay, I was doing it wrong then. Okay.
Yeah, bathroom.
Yeah,
But-
I remember
But
this.
you're moving it. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but this, I love you.
Yep.
Okay.
Nope. This way.
And
This way. 3 fingers up. Yeah. Yep. And then the regular signs. Anything above is male. Anything below is female. Father, mother. Yeah.
yeah, and I did for a
Sorry.
little while, did some sign language. So it's I am Lexi, and Lexi stands for music.
Yeah.
Or music
They-
stands for
the
Lexi.
sign- someone
music.
gave
Is
you
it-
the sign like the sign
Is
name.
it please? Is that please?
That's please, and sorry was when you do it like this with the
Okay,
fist.
okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if that's please because I don't know because I do ASL, but I do know when you do this, your fist, and you go and that's sorry.
Okay.
And this is
Oh, this is
wrong. And so my mom, I did know sign language from her, and then as I got older, I realized that she taught us sign language, and then some of it broken sign language or pidgin,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay.
You know what I think is a shame? We all learn our skills when we are younger. I mean, your mom
Yes.
learned it as from being a toddler. Well, Michael, you learned it growing up. I mean, you didn't have any other possibility.
Yeah.
When I was a teen, I already hang out with people who were in a wheelchair, but I didn't use my crutches till like 7 years ago. So I was in my 40s. But I did hang out around people in wheelchairs. So that's why I got to see a lot of how it worked. Little did I know I was going to use one myself one day. But what always has frustrated me a little bit is when people get older, they still have the same possibilities. Of course, learning is a little bit slower, but they could pick up on certain things. I mean, when they have a hearing problem, I can tell that they start to read lips. But what if they would be able, to, I don't know. It's not that they can't learn it. It's they don't want to, probably.
Yeah, that's the whole mindset.
Yeah, Michael?
Yeah, that's a mindset thing. It just depends on what you want to learn, what you're okay with learning. And as far as, because some people are like upset that they're in that situation, I think. And then they don't want to bother to learn something that they're indifferent. Or, yeah.
That's so true. And like I said,
I always saw it as adapting, and when I was walking with crutches, I wouldn't be able to hold anything in my hands because my hands were tied up, using the crutches. And when I wouldn't have a backpack, I would take a plastic bag or whatever it was, I put it between my teeth.
Wow.
And I would help up. And people would actually, they would have a lot of fun watching me, hop on the streets. But my mom, she would be embarrassed. And I was like,
wow. Like with me, Lexi, growing up, I didn't know my mom was different. I just thought she was a regular mom. I didn't know she was different until I went to kindergarten in 1968. And so when I went in there and then folks started talking about their moms and different things, and I could say that it was either one or two of the things. Either I just didn't want to share that part of my mom, or I was protecting her, or it could be I was embarrassed. But I dreaded mentioning my mom, but I always mentioned my dad because he was the voice. My dad passed in 2008, but he was the voice. He did the PTA, and then finally somebody said, "Well, how we don't never see your mom? Why your mom don't never come to this?" And so finally, I had to come out of that. What I didn't want to talk about was that my mom was deaf. This is way in the 60s, 60s and 70s. And so finally, someone say, oh, so because they used to call my mom, oh, your mom is that deaf and dumb lady. I was so mad. So I was fighting from kindergarten to 14 years old to protect my mom because people call her deaf and dumb. And so what I learned as I got between 13 and 14, I learned that my mom is going to be deaf. My mom is deaf. I can't bring her hearing back. So you deal with it. And that's what I said. But before that, they would say, oh, so your mom can hear and talk, blah, blah, blah. Actually just saying blah, blah, blah. And so that's what I dreaded. And so when they said that, I was so mad. Not that I wanted a new mother, but every time when she would go to the store or something and she explained, she say what she want. And her voice is like that, And so I would use my voice to say hello. My mom would just kind of nudge me and say, don't do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now that I'm older, I'm talking more about that she's deaf. I wouldn't dare when I was younger talk about her being deaf. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
I get that. I was born in the late 70s, and the doctor who examined me told my mother that I would probably never walk, talk, feed myself, or dress myself, and I should probably be institutionalized. And my mother, this is one of my things I'm grateful for. As far as my mother, she never gave up on me, and she didn't have me institutionalized, which is every reason I've done everything I've ever done, and why I've been able to is go as far as I can. It's just a matter of your perception, your desire, what you think you can do, what you'll be able to do. And it was the late 70s, so people didn't know what they know now, obviously, but it depends on how far you're willing to go to make, just to prove what the other person can do.
Yes,
I think.
true.
What was that?
I said, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
That's the thing
I'm sorry.
about moms. Moms want to see their children have a normal life.
Yeah.
And I believe both your moms did as well.
Yeah, and see, my husband had called me, but I had kind of broke up, but I'm sorry. And I heard what Mike had said. Mike, right? Michael?
Yeah.
But and like with my, like I said, my mom is 87. So when her mother had her, she was 16. So that's back in the 1917s when my grandmother was born. So she had her at 16. So in that time, being a person of color, they didn't really care for it and all that stuff like that, like doctors care. So when she got that, my grandmother, like you said, she didn't, your mother didn't, there I go, send you to an institution or something like that. But with my mom, her mother didn't do the same thing. So what I hear the stories of my mom being small, knowing that she can't hear and talk. So I heard stories not from my grandmother, but from other people that knew my mom, that my grandmother used to keep a harness on her and keep her when she went to play outside tied to a tree. It sounds cruel, but what if she lost her and she can't tell her where she's at?
Yeah.
So that's what I was like, wow. So I'm like, so she kept her,
have to come with solutions, how you're going to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. And she was the firstborn. My mother was the firstborn out of 7. So she was the first to be deaf. No others, just she's the only sibling that's deaf.
Mm.
So
it's just a matter of like, protection.
But mommy
needing to take care of you and watch out for you, and it's a different time. So you have to think outside the box.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can do different things nowadays. I mean, even if you can't speak, you can put a card on you, like, okay, this is me, and but I do understand that she didn't want her to cross the street because she couldn't hear it. But at some point you have to say, like, okay, it might be hazardous, but it's like with there are some blind people out there who use the echolocation. So you
Yeah.
can tell that they are blind because they don't use the stick, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because they use the echolocation, but they've actually trained themselves to know where they are.
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah.
And it's all about how well, I'm not going to use the word brave, but I will say the word inventive, creative.
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
hi, Joe. So I think those things are extremely important, that you, um, like Michael said, think it's outside the box and not keep
Yeah.
someone, sheltered because of what might happen. I think,
Yes.
especially when um, you are lacking certain abilities, that it's so important to develop other skills to
Yeah.
compensate for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
was
my
very
And
mom.
Michael,
Yeah.
I wanted to say Michael is the
yeah,
perfect example.
I was
Mm-hmm.
very sheltered.
And yet,
Yeah.
there you are. And I mean, you've shown me yeah, Ellen, you don't know this, but there's actually on Instagram, there's a post with Michael and me about Vocalize So You'll Strive. And then you can see him with all these medals on. So you never held back,
No,
Michael.
I
I'm
was
gonna follow Michael.
I was protected and sheltered, but that was just because my parents were like overprotective and wanted to take care of me and wanted me to be safe and happy. And but I was the type of kid, I didn't care. I would do it whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm stubborn. Like I'm the type of person that'll do something, fall on my face, get up and do it again. I didn't care. So I just had to be watch out for my parents as far as like
Mm-hmm.
protecting them so that they know I'm protected, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Joe just joined. We are talking about um, dealing with a certain lack of abilities and how to deal with it. So instead of being held back, just develop other skills. I don't know if you want to join. I know you are dealing with COVID, so you probably look like you don't want to be on there. But if you want to join, just send a request. And so we were talking about Ellen. His mom was had gone deaf when she was a toddler, and well, I don't think Ellen really realized that she had a different mom until she went to school herself. And we talked about Michael, who who was predicted not to be able to do anything, and it was the opposite. There he is, and
Yeah.
he's making everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you're proving everyone wrong, I suppose.
Thank you.
So,
Try.
Well, I'm definitely following
yeah,
Michael. I'm following him. Mm-hmm. And I'm
Thank you.
already following you. Yeah, because
yeah,
I like to see. I like the way Michael said the abilities and stuff, rather than to focus on what one can or cannot do. Just focus on the ability and that. And so, like what you said, that you were kind of sheltered. My mom was not sheltered. She was always out in the opening and always, had us out walking, just a regular day. Minus folks really knowing that she's deaf, so she never brought any attention to it. And I think that it was beautiful. And I think two things. I think number one, she learned what every person that is deaf to cope in the hearing society. But then the second part of it is the minus is that being around the deaf culture, to not us, her children, to grasp onto the deaf culture. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I
Yeah.
think that I should have learned. I'm not going to down myself with that, but I know. But for when I was 40 years old, that's when I really started really wanting to be like very, very interested in my mom's language. I do know it, like I say, more than passable. And as I look back, I know a lot more than what I thought I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so that I wish I would have grew up with it. That's the only minus that I said. I wish I would have just grown up. So when I turned 40, I went back and visited mom. And then it felt like I had my voice for the first time, knowing sign language. I was able to ask her what color she liked to wear. What is her favorite this? And I felt like a newborn child finally engaging with their mom, and really knowing sign language. So that's my bit of take on that. So I'm like, it was so beautiful to see someone that's deaf. And I just always stop and look and just be amazed. I'm really eavesdrop. You know how you eardrop when you're hearing, you eavesdrop.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm like looking at him and I'm so amazed. My eyes is like, oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's
so
me.
cool.
I'm dramatic, y'all. I'm dramatic. Yeah, it's
Well,
so cool.
the thing is that when it comes to communication, people are terrible when it comes to communication. And then I'm not even talking about people who cannot answer by using sound, but also when it comes to, I mean, even when they can use sound, it's like one is talking this way and the other one is talking that way, and they're like, we're talking the same language, but we still don't understand one another.
Yes.
So what's Joe saying? That's so, that's
Yeah,
so
I see
lovely,
what
nice
you're
sharing that. And have you got to rejoice with your mom? Yes, that's so true.
Yeah, yeah.
So today, I actually ran into when I went to the Thai. I went back from Spain today, and I got medical assistance. So here I am.
I'm sorry, Lexi. I'm gonna drop down and I'm gonna be listening that way because I forgot it's Valentine's Day and my husband is bringing me something. So I'm going to drop down and still listen. And it's a pleasure talking to you, Mike.
Send a text every now and then.
Yeah, I'm
Rosie,
gonna still be on. Yeah, I'm still be listening till he comes, but I'm just gonna drop down so I can be ready.
Okay.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
You. You're welcome. You're welcome.
So I'm gonna X out.
Well, when talking about communication, and maybe Rosie wants to come on, I don't know. So here I was at the Spanish airport, and I had the medical assistance. So then I ran into that I only know a little Spanish. I'm actually learning it nowadays. So I've got all these medications, and in order to take my medications, I also need fluids because it's not very healthy to take medication without it. So they were annoyed that my doctor, who is Dutch, wrote it in English and not in Spanish. And it was like, what do you expect? Do you expect all people to know Dutch, to know Spanish? So did you hear it, or did you freeze, or did I freeze? Michael, could you hear me just now, or did one of us freeze? Uh-oh, this is not going the way it should. Michael is freezing up, or maybe I am, I don't know. So I'm waiting for Michael to come back. Let's see what's happening. I'm afraid he's going to opt out and opt in back again. Yeah, hang on. There he is. Uh-oh, still not working. Yeah, okay. Well, let's see if he's there again.
Hello.
Yeah, there you are again. Okay. So
happened.
okay, I didn't hear that. It went oh. Oh. No, the connection isn't working. Maybe you can try to get off and on one more time. Well, the connection still is freezing up. That's a shame. Well, maybe I can tell a little story. But let's see if Michael is there again. I see circles across your face, Michael. It's not working. Oh, we are so excited to talk to all of you. And now Michael's frozen up. Yeah, there you are again. Yay! Oh no. Oh, this is really a pity because I was looking forward to talking with Michael. So last week we had the same problem too. When we went from Instagram to using StreamYard, and we ended up with Zoom, which of course wasn't live, but it's still there on YouTube if you want to see it. So I'm just going to try. Be patient, please. And we're going to see if we can have him. Yeah, there you are again.
I don't know what's wrong.
Probably something with the connection. But we are here again. So I don't know if you heard anything, but I was at the airport today, and I had to go through security. So
Okay.
there I was. I was actually wheeled in a wheelchair through security, and then I had my medication, and they were like, "Okay, you can take any fluids with you," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure I can," because I need them in order for my medication. But I only can speak Spanish so much. So they said, "Do you have a paper for it?" And I said, "Well, I do have an official document." And then they looked at it, and it's like, "Yeah, it's not in Spanish." No, you can't expect a Dutch doctor to speak Spanish. I think it's a good one that's already in English. So
Yeah.
then she wanted to throw it away. She didn't want to let me go through. And I was like, there must be someone out here who can speak English. And then they got someone, and he said, "Well, I need to check it." "Yeah, sure, go do it." I'm used to people saying, "No, you can't take it with you." And then because I'm very stubborn and very determined, so I always say, "No, I need it." you know, you can stand on your head if you want to. And I think actually it was one of those assistants who actually told me once, "You need it in order to take your medication, because it's not healthy to take medication and not have anything to drink."
Yeah.
So, and I don't know about you, but I'm not good at popping pills without any water. So, um,
It depends on the size of the pill.
yeah, yeah,
My
I
my wife can take like 7 pills at once and not bat an eye. If I take 2, I'll choke.
yeah. Well, I'll have that problem with one. Oh, you're
Hello.
freezing up again. Ah, there you
Yeah,
are.
you are
Yeah, but
freezing.
that was a little bit of a challenge today, I have to say. I was like, okay, I know that Spanish people can be stubborn when it comes to English, but I mean, I was trying, speaking to speak
Mm-hmm.
Spanish
Yeah.
with my limited amount of words. So, but well, in the end, I succeeded. But it was like, oh my God, And that's always the thing when it comes to traveling. Um, always the thing with the medication, and but then there's the upside too. When I went to Spain, so that was last Friday, I had so much fun with one of the assistants over there, and he was happy I could speak some Spanish and he could speak some English, and we just were having a ball. We were just laughing because I was like, "Oh yeah," and I would translate it in Spanish, and he would appreciate that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
I guess when you try to have a positive attitude, it just rubs off on other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a big traveler. I hardly ever travel anywhere. There's a
Oh, okay.
there's a
Is
place
there a
that my
reason?
wife and I drive. What? What's that?
Is there a reason you don't travel much?
No, I've never traveled much. I mean, I'll drive to California to see my in-laws with my wife, but that's like 6 hours away, and I can drive, so it's no big deal. And then my wife and I go to Utah occasionally to see Cedar City, just to see plays. We like to do that, but we haven't done that since before COVID, so it's been a bit.
Yeah, I totally get it. So the one I picked up hadn't traveled much in COVID either. And I have to say, I hadn't traveled till last September myself. I still
Hmm.
want to go to the States again, but I think they didn't open up airspace till November last year. So,
Oh yeah, it's been a
yeah.
while since I've been on a plane.
Yeah, so it's weird. I still have to get used to people sitting next to me, even when we are wearing facial masks. It's like mm, I'm a little bit uneasy.
Yeah, they just took off the mandate that you have to wear masks here. So there's some places that
Okay.
you have to still. Most places are done.
Yeah, the rules are changing constantly, nonstop. So everybody can go to work over here again. So that's since today or
Mm-hmm.
starting tomorrow again. And nightclubs can be open again. So it's we're a little bit late because we had this around Christmas with the Omicron variant. They said that we need to be safe, so we actually were under curfew again. We had these
Yeah.
restrictions. So
Hmm.
it was not an entire lockdown; it was partial lockdown, I suppose.
Okay.
So yeah, but when it comes to traveling, yeah, the US is of course a lot bigger. Um, I mean, if I go across the border to Belgium, it's like an hour and a half, and I'm already across the border. Of course,
Hmm.
depending on where I go, Germany, it's like 2 hours, and I can be in Germany, France, 3 hours, 3 to 4. So when you go to different states, it's already, it's actually for us, it's similar to going to a different country, I suppose.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. So the traveling is
I've only
always a
ever been
little bit,
out of the country once.
yeah. So I was talking to someone about flights and flying, and I said, well, if I go to the US, I usually have to take multiple flights. And I'm so used
Hmm.
to it, if you go from one state to the other, that you just take the airplane, you fly like for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then you're there.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a cool thing. So, do
Yeah.
you have any last words when it comes to abilities versus disabilities, and you know, just
I just
adding
I
skills
think
to your skill set?
um I think being a being aware of what you can do and just going after what you want and not being afraid to try is very important. And being self-aware is huge. And just asking yourself in each situation, can I do this? What would happen if I did this? What would happen if I tried to do this and failed? And then just adjust and just be okay with consequences, or just not maybe not consequences, but just the things that'll happen as a result, good or bad. Um, and just don't stop or give up or let anything hold you back from doing what you need to do or doing what you want to do. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I remember when I was in Barcelona and I was in a wheelchair from the airport. Um, and I literally took the shuttle bus, which of course didn't kneel down. It should have, but it didn't. And
Yeah.
fortunately, I learned how to go up the sidewalks, going like instead of straight ahead, in an angle. Um, but
Mhm.
yeah, people were looking at me, what are you doing? And I had the most fun with it. It was
Mhm.
experimental. Um, but also, the fact that I managed, and otherwise people just help me. I would tap people on the shoulder. Oh, would you give me a push? Those little things.
Mhm.
And people are not. Um, when you ask strangers for help, they're likely
Mhm.
inclined to help you out. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you ask.
and
But if you ask, they'll do it. But like, if you noticeably need the help, a lot of times they'll just like pass you by. At least that's in my experience.
well, I agree that you often need people have like blinders on. And it's
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
when you grab their attention, that's when they are like, oh, hang on, you're there.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure, I will help you. It does happen, but it rarely happens that people decline to help you
yeah. I've
out,
never
or
heard.
they'll find someone else.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody decline. I've just seen people like you said have blinders on and like not see. Yeah,
Yeah, and I guess that's right. But in addition to what you said, I would say to people to don't be held back because you think you cannot do something or you're limited for one reason or another. It's surprising what you actually can do,
yeah,
and sometimes we are forced in that situation that things are different, and it doesn't go as easily as it does normal, but it also
yeah.
brings fun times and advantages. Like today, they asked me, can you climb the elevator, the stairs? And I was like, well, maybe I can, but lately I've been a little bit stiff. And because I also twisted my right knee instead of just my left knee, I was like, well, I know you've got an elevator. If you're using it anyway, well, let me go inside. So I had a
Mhm.
friend
Yeah.
with me, and he never been in that elevator, so it was pretty cool. So Ellen is asking us something. Do you think the reason is that some who have limited abilities don't want others to treat them as if they can't help themselves? Well, I know that a lot of people are ashamed of showing that they are not capable of doing certain things. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I'm stubborn. I don't like to show my need for help. I rather do it myself, and like, so I never, even if people ask me if I need help, I'll tell them no, thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's an option if you can. But like that one day when I was stuck outside the airport because I couldn't get in because I had a suitcase and two crutches. Yeah, I couldn't
Mm.
ignore other people. I literally had to scream for help because you can't
Yeah,
leave
like
your luggage
two,
alone.
2 days ago, I had to get out of a situation where I got stuck in a part of my apartment complex in the grass, and I needed help, so I had somebody help me. But for the most part, I try to do it myself. But if I need help, I need help. Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's it. And I think I agree with you. If you need it, you need it, and you can say no, but then you'll remain stuck wherever you are. So that's
Yeah.
not going to help
Yeah.
you. And
No.
it's not like you have to ask everyone all the time. So, Mike, how does your wife feel about you being so independent? You've
she likes
always
it.
known
She
me like
appreciates
this,
it.
right?
She's the way she is. Yeah, she's always known me like this. The way she is if I need it, if I need help, she'll always help me. But I always try to do it myself first because she knows that's just the way I am. But she respects it. She appreciates it, and it's just the way I've always been. So
Yeah, you don't experience pain, right?
with that,
If you don't have you don't have the consequences of pain, right?
if I stand for very long periods of time, like 2 hours, like more than a few hours, my back will start hurting. But other than that, I'm pretty good.
Okay, so would that be a boundary for you that you want to prevent yourself from getting into a lot of pain?
No, I just always use my chair, which
Mm-hmm.
when I have no pain. But if I'm standing and walking a lot, then that's where the pain will happen. But like I said, I hardly ever use my crutches just
Yeah, I
because I
get
know
it.
I
Well, one of the
farther.
things I ran into was because of course I was on crutches all the time, most of the time that I was very frustrated that people didn't help me out who were close to me. Like I was like,
Mhm.
don't you realize I'm in pain? No, I
Yeah.
don't want to walk a lot, all that stuff. So I really had to learn to ask for help, and people will be annoyed at first until they either would experience it themselves or they would figure out what was happening. And but
Mhm.
I had to explain it to them. So
Yeah.
and then there was life. Okay, I think it's time to wind up. You finish
Okay.
it too to wrap up.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. That's good.
well, it says you look so strong and healthy. Well, there you go, Michael.
What? Sorry.
uh,
Sorry.
Ellen says you look so strong and healthy. So, and she wants to know what your diagnosis is.
I have spina bifida. When I was
Yes.
born, I had a hole in the bottom of my back, and my spine was exposed, and just damage was done to the nerves. And then I had to get closed up, and then I can walk, but with crutches. But most of the time, I'm in my chair.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully that answers what Ellen wanted to know. Again, thank you so much. Next week we'll be on around the same time, so that would be 4 p.m. Pacific, right?
Yeah. Yes.
We're going to try and see if we can do it on StreamYard and on YouTube and Facebook. And if not, we're just going to go here, right?
Yeah. We'll do
So,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, what I like about Instagram is that everyone can join basically. So that's, well, up to 4 people.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Well, I want to say thank you so much. And um, oh, her hairdresser has the same diagnosis. So,
Wow.
well, and you can tell he became a hairdresser. So a
Yeah.
lot of it is possible if you just get the right support and the right motivation, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, we'll talk soon again.
Thank,
And thank you everyone for watching. Please leave a comment and like
yes.
and
Please
subscribe.
comment.
We also have well, I did the video on YouTube, Lady Lexy Live on the Road. I don't know, I didn't send it to you. You can probably post it on your channel too.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, but I'll make you a collaborator,
Okay.
and then you will have this on your Instagram channel as well.
Okay. Great. Thank
So,
you.
okay, have a great evening.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.